talked about the acceleration of certain reforms that you would recommend to the government. Can we talk about that a bit?
Sure. So there's no magic. Theruni, for an example, what we need for Sri Lanka for the moment is the economic growth, because our debt becomes sustainable, our revenue is going to increase based on the growth that we take. For the simple explanation is of understanding of the common man. If the size of the economy is like a pie of cake, then the size, the weight and the volume has to grow. Then only everyone has a better share. To happen that, there are so many restrictions that is blocking us. One is definitely the customs regulation on the global trade, that there are reforms done. In fact, the NPP manifesto has promised and mentioned the single national window. Of course, we understand you cannot do it overnight. It takes a little bit of time. So that has to happen. The tariff structure has to be simple. It has to be predictable. And it has to be digitized, and there has to be a national single window where all the agencies, institutes come together on a single platform, so it's easy to transfer documents, provide authorization, so on and so forth. That's number one reform. And also it becomes more relevant given the geopolitical context that we are in, because there are tariff barriers. So it's important that we remove the tariff barriers internally, that we can move forward. That's number one. Number two is there's another main bottleneck for investment. That is the land issue. If you bring an investor, you are finding it really hard to give him a plot of land for investment, because already more than 90% of our industrial land is already occupied. So the government has to actively allocate land, and land is not just like the bare land. This requires electricity supply, water, waste management, infrastructure. All that has to come in that package. It has to be like a plug and play, where the investor comes, the plot has been allocated, electricity is given, you just need to put the factory up and quickly run as fast as possible, because there's a cost for delaying it. So that's the second reform that is required. And what we have been recommending is, because government also has so many other things they are engaged, mainly on the anti-corruption front, from the outset we can see some progress. So while the government focuses on that, you get the private sector, if possible, even to manage and operate these industrial lands, because then it is the private operator, it's easy to attract the investment, and also to operate it in a condition that the investors are encouraged. That's number two. Number three is not very popular, but I think it's needed. That is the state-owned enterprises reform. It's also in the IMF report that it's also a benchmark, structural benchmark, in a way that they have to bring it to at least a holding company setup, all the state-owned enterprises, because at the moment there are a lot of transparency issues, governance issues, when all these state-owned enterprises